Have you ever played Roblox so late at night that the silence in your room starts to feel heavy? Like the dark corners behind your monitor are slowly closing in? It was exactly 2:40 a.m. on a Tuesday. I was exhausted, but I was determined to beat this new, unreleased community obby called The Ascent. It had 100 stages, and the developer promised a huge reward for the first person to finish it. I was currently stuck on stage 95. The server was dead silent. The lobby player count showed exactly one, just me. The only sound was the repetitive tap-tap-tap of my spacebar and the electronic ping whenever my character touched a checkpoint. It was peaceful, almost therapeutic. But then, as I stood on a narrow neon blue ledge, prepping for a difficult wraparound jump, the game's background music abruptly cut out. No fade out. Just instant, dead silence. I paused. I didn't think much of it at first. Roblox audio glitches happen all the time. But when I pressed tab to check my ping, I noticed something that made my stomach drop. The player count was no longer 1. A second player had joined. Their username was blank. No letters, no numbers, just an empty space in the player list. And where their avatar thumbnail should have been, there was only a corrupted, static-filled gray square. I typed in the public chat, "Hello? Is the server lagging for you too?" I waited. 10 seconds. 30 seconds. Nothing. I shrugged, thinking it was just some kid with a weird glitched username, and focused back on my jump. I lined up my camera, hit shift lock, and jumped. I nailed the wraparound perfectly and landed on stage 96. But as the checkpoint flag turned from red to green, I heard a sound that didn't belong in this game. It was the sound of heavy, wet footsteps. Like someone walking in wet shoes, right behind my character. I spun my camera around. There was nobody on the platform with me. The neon blocks stretched all the way down, disappearing into the dark fog of the lower levels. But then, far below, near stage 50, I saw a shape. It was a completely blocky, pitch-black avatar. No package, no accessories. Just a solid black silhouette. But what caught my eye was the speed. It wasn't jumping. It was gliding up the neon blocks, completely ignoring the gravity of the game. It was moving fast. Faster than any normal player could run. With every second, it was ascending the tower. 50, 60, 70. My heart rate started to spike. I stopped typing. I didn't want to chat anymore. I just wanted to finish this obby, get my badge, and close the game. I rushed through stage 96, barely making the jumps over the moving laser grids. My hands were getting sweaty, making my fingers slip on the WASD keys. It's just an admin trolling, I told myself. Or a hacker trying to scare me. But deep down, I knew that didn't explain the cold draft that suddenly blew through my real-world bedroom, making the hairs on my arms stand up. I reached stage 98. By now, the game was starting to actively glitch out. The neon colors of the obby blocks were slowly rotting. The bright blues and greens turned into a sickening, rusty brown. The skybox, which was supposed to be a starry night sky, was replaced by a static red screen. And then, the chat opened again. But it wasn't the blank user. It was my own username typing into the chat, without me touching my keyboard. My character said, "It is cold in here." A second later. "Why did you leave the window open?" I stared at the screen, paralyzed. I slowly looked over my shoulder. My bedroom window was closed and locked. But the chill in the air was getting stronger. My breath was almost visible in the dark. I looked back at the screen. The black silhouette was now on stage 90. It was only 10 stages below me. And as it got closer, I realized it didn't have an animation. It was just sliding upward, its head tilted at an unnatural, broken 90-degree angle. Stage 99. The second to last stage. The parkour here was insane. Just a line of tiny, microscopic red dots over a massive pit of pixelated black fire.
One wrong pixel, 1 millisecond of lag, and you die and reset back to the start of the stage. I took a deep breath. My heart was pounding in my ears. I lined up the first jump. Jump. Safe. Jump. Safe. Behind me, the sound of the wet footsteps returned. But they weren't far below anymore. They were right behind my head. Literally. The audio was panning from left to right in my headphones, mimicking someone pacing back and forth in my actual room, right behind my gaming chair. I refused to look back in real life. I knew if I turned my head, I would lose my focus, or worse, I'd see something I wasn't prepared to see. I made the third jump. Only 2 dots left. Suddenly, my Roblox character stopped in midair. The entire game froze. My ping counter in the top left corner started rapidly climbing. 100 milliseconds. 500 milliseconds. 2000 milliseconds. 9999 milliseconds. The static on my screen got so loud it was physically hurting my ears. I went to pull my headphones off, but my hands wouldn't move. It was like sleep paralysis, but I was wide awake, staring at my monitor. The black silhouette slowly glided onto the platform of stage 99. It walked right up to my frozen character. The camera angle of my game automatically forced itself into a first-person perspective. But instead of looking at the obby, my character's camera pointed straight down at the black void. Only, it wasn't a void anymore. Slowly, out of the blackness, a realistic, human face began to render. It wasn't blocky. It looked like a live feed video. The skin was pale, bruised, and the eyes were wide, bloodshot, and staring directly out of the monitor. Directly at me. The chat box popped up one final time. The blank user sent a message, "I see you, Mikhail." My real-world lights flickered, and my entire computer shut down. No blue screen, no warning. Just instant, pitch blackness. I sat there in the dark, my heart hammering against my ribs, breathing heavily. The only light in my room was the faint glow of the streetlights outside my window. I finally forced myself to turn around. There was no one behind my chair. My door was locked. I slowly turned my computer back on. My hands were shaking so badly it took me 3 tries to type in my password. When the desktop finally loaded, I noticed my Roblox launcher icon was completely gone. Deleted. But there was a new file on my desktop. A simple text document named stage_100.txt. With a trembling hand, I double-clicked to open it. Inside, there was only one line of text. "Thanks for playing. Look up." I slowly raised my eyes to the top of my monitor. And in the reflection of the black screen, I saw 2 pale, lifeless eyes staring back at me from the dark space right above my head.